Hey everybody, it's Will, Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. You know what it is. Blu-ray pickups. Well, Blu-ray and DVD. So this video, and as you can see, it's still a resplendent coronavirus at home lockdown super special episode. How you doing at home, folks? I'm looking like the Unabomber more and more every day. My parents think that I look like a communist intellectual with this beard, which is maybe filtered through their frame of reference of like, you know, the 60s and 70s and the counterculture and that whole kind of. But I'll take that, you know. I'll take the take the communist intellectual. Like, well, the dialectic. Anyway, I don't need to talk too much about communism in this video because guess what? This is all about capitalism. So the story here is that I have met a guy on Instagram who is like an old school OG, like awesome Jackie Chan fan and Hong Kong cinema in general fan from like way back in the day. He's older than me, and so he was watching these movies in the 80s like as they were coming out, and like he was in the Jackie Chan fan club, and he's really nice guy. And again, I've like digitally met him, right? But he messaged me about something, or he either left a comment or a message about something on the Instagram, and I responded, and we had like a back and forth, and it kind of just kept going. And he's like a really cool, really nice guy, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him. And I will tag him on this video if you're watching it on Instagram. But so he and I were talking about the Eureka release of Throwdown, which is a Johnny To film, which was inspired actually by Akira Kurosawa, who's one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. As you can tell, I love Japanese cinema because I've got like the Zatoichi box set here, and I've got the Godzilla set over there. My Kurosawa stuff is there's like a bookshelf right over there that you can't really see in here, but I have an entire row on the bookshelf of Kurosawa books, and then I have like 28, 29, 30 Kurosawa DVDs and Blu-rays, so maybe one day I'll do a video about that. But the point being, Johnny To, I love Johnny To. Kurosawa, I love Kurosawa, and Throwdown is a great movie. It's a perfect mixture, and Eureka releasing a Blu-ray edition. And so that was on my list, and several people asked me to review that release, actually. So what I was going to do is, we have a Patreon, if you don't know. I don't like to promote it too much right now in the times of coronavirus, because I know that it's really tough financial times for a lot of people, and I don't want to make it seem like the sole purpose of this channel is financial gain, because obviously it's not. But we're making like $18 or $20 a month, I think, on Patreon right now. But even after like Patreon fees and taxes, that's enough to buy at least one Blu-ray every month, right? So the stuff that I've been reviewing on this channel, we're feeding more into the review process, I guess, if I could say that, through our Patreon. And actually, we're getting closer to monetizing on Instagram. So, or on YouTube. We have about 585 subscribers, I think, as I'm recording this, and we had a huge push. I mentioned on our Instagram, like, hey, you know, you should go follow us on YouTube, because we're going to try to monetize, and obviously all that money will go back into the channel, and we can buy, like, I go through eBay a lot, and like the other day I was on eBay and I found like an original French like big movie theater poster for A Better Tomorrow, and I was like, fuck, I want to buy that. And so that's the kind of stuff that we'll start buying eventually once we're making more money, if we do is eventually start making more money, because the ultimate very long-term goal, I have a problem with long-term thinking, where I'm always like creating these ludicrous like scenarios of like escalation. But you know, in an ideal world where someone dumps $1 million on my head, I want to have like a physical space and a museum and a library and a shop and like a theater where we can screen Hong Kong cinema, have people come and do Q&As. We could do classes on like screenwriting and filmmaking and stuff like that. We could have all these posters on display. We could have all these awesome editions of these movies. We can catalog all these things, have a website. And so as we make more money, we start to buy more things, we start to amass these things, and it kind of snowballs, right? So that's Patreon, and I'll stop talking now about that. But the reason I mentioned that is that I was going to use our Patreon money to buy the Eureka release of Throwdown, because people wanted me to review it, and like I said, I love that film, and I love Johnny To, and I love Akira Kurosawa, and the connection there is really cool. And so then this guy who I've become friends with on Instagram, who's a huge fan of Hong Kong cinema, messaged me out of the blue and was like, hey, I got an extra copy of the Throwdown Eureka release. Do you want it? And I was like, ching. Actually, I was like, yeah, I mean, if you don't mind sending it to me, that'd be amazing. Do you want me to send you money for shipping? He's like, no, don't worry about it. He's actually also in LA. So, you know, we're not that far away from each other, ironically. And so he sent it to me, and here we have it. This is the Eureka Blu-ray release of Johnny To's classic. Throwdown, 2004 is when this came out. And yeah, 2004. So this is a 4K restoration. This is the 1080p, like, you know, full HD presentation of it. And so you pop that out of the slipcase, and this is what you get on the inside. If you can kind of see that artwork, and open that up here. This is my first Eureka release too. So I've been really meaning to get around to buying Eureka Jackie Chan releases. Like, I really want to pick up their Project A 2 set, and I really want to get their release Wheels on Meals. That's one of my all-time favorite Jackie Chan movies. I think I own 4 copies of that movie at this point. It depends on the day what my favorite Jackie Chan movie is, but on a lot of days it's Wheels on Meals. I'm just gonna sip some water here. I apologize for being... Here we go. And there's the inside of that. And so, like I said, this is my first Eureka release, and I'm definitely going to review this for the channel. I'm really excited to review this for the channel, and I hope to get more Eureka releases, especially if we get more money. They're releasing Mr. Vampire soon, July 20th, so of 2020. So I'm maybe with the July payout of our Patreon money, which we would get in the beginning of August. I'll pick up Mr. Vampire. It'll be a little bit late on the review. It won't be like right as it comes out, but I'll get around to it. So there's the inside there, and I'm gonna show you the booklet here. So there you go. And this has kind of like a glossy finish. So as I said in my review of the 88 Films release of Operation Condor, and also this is the Sanshiro Sugata, I think, original Japanese poster. Is that? Yeah, dude. I haven't even looked at this booklet yet, and I knew what that was. Do I get Akira Kurosawa bonus points or what, mother trucker? I used to run a Tumblr called the Kurosawa Project, and I think I have like 7,000 or 8,000 followers over there, and I keep meaning to just port that over to Instagram, but I did a lot of galleries of like the original Japanese posters of every Kurosawa film, so I recognize those like right off the bat. They're so striking and like instantly recognizable. So Sanshiro Sugata, if you don't know, that's Kurosawa's first film that came out in 1943, and it's about a judo champion, and it's basically like Kurosawa's only like pure martial arts film. I know that sword fighting is a martial art, and so films like Seven Samurai are martial arts films, but like in terms of like a pure martial arts film in the way that you would think of like a kung fu movie as like a martial arts film. And Sanshiro Sugata, and then the sequel, which is the only sequel that Kurosawa ever made, which was came out in 1945. Those are like the only like real kind of like martial arts films that Kurosawa ever made. But you know, in classic Kurosawa fashion, the physical plot of the film becomes a exploration of the ontological kind of struggles of the characters. And so you have a film like, you know, Wakemono no Ikiru, which I think came out in 1955 and has Toshiro Mifune in it. And that's about the atomic bomb, basically, and that guy who's like afraid of someone. It's after the war, obviously, since it was made in 1955. But this guy is afraid of Japan getting another atomic bomb dropped on it. So every time he hears like an airplane, he's like freaking out and stuff. And it's kind of like this psychological thriller, but Kurosawa really delves deep into this extremely bleak look at, you know, because what Kurosawa really does is he finds the root of what the film is about. And so Wakemono no Ikiru is on the surface a film about a guy who is disturbed by basically World War II and what happened to Japan at the end of the war with the nukes being dropped, and the fact that Russia and the US are in this insane nuclear arms race. But what the film is really about is a meditation on the human capacity for cruelty and how you can live a day-to-day life with the knowledge that that is ever present, basically. It's a very interesting movie. It's not one of his more well-known films. It's in a Criterion Calypse. Calypse? What? Oh, man. It's too late. It's late at night. If you didn't know, I record these videos pretty late because I have 2 kids, and they're young kids. And it's like very much this, like, I get up at 6 in the morning, or sometimes like 5:30 even, and like I'm doing the kids, and then I'm working at home right now because of coronavirus, and I've got 2 dogs, and I'm trying to manage the dogs, and then the kids is like dinner, and it's bath, and doing the dishes, and walking the dogs, and blah, blah. By the time I start recording these videos, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and then I record a couple in a row, and I'm like, ah! And so I start saying things like Calypse instead of Eclipse when I'm talking about the Criterion series. But so let me just tell you about the bonus features that are on this bad boy. because they are pretty tasty. So you have the Cantonese and English audio options. You have optional English subtitles, feature-length audio commentary by Asian film expert Frank Zhang, or Zhang. It's spelled like Django, so maybe the D is silent. Zhang. Feature-length audio commentary by Hong Kong film expert Rick Myers. Archival interview with director Johnny To that is 40 minutes long. Hell yeah. Johnny To is really interesting in interviews, too, if you've never seen an interview with him. I've seen a couple about... it was either Election or Exiled that are really interesting interviews. The Making of Throwdown, archival featurette, TV spots featuring archival cast and crew interviews, reversible sleeve, plus collector's booklet. So that's what that was. I just showed you off the collector's booklet. So that is the Eureka release of Throwdown, which my new friend on Instagram was so kind to send to me. But what's even more amazing about the package that he sent me is that he threw in some surprise goodies. Hey, remember how I said that Wheels on Meals is one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies and I own several copies of it? Look at this. What? So he sent me this. Now this, and so what he said to me is I sent him a message after I got his package and I was like, obviously thank you so much. This is incredible, but like, are there any stories behind these or like why you chose to send them to me? And he's basically like, as the Blu-rays come out, I'm not trying to keep like 100 versions of a movie in my house, so I just like to pass them on to people who are big fans and really enjoy them. So that was super kind and thoughtful of him. So this is a HK Contemporary Collection from Fortune Star, and this is a Korean release. So can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Can I like click on this and focus? Yeah, I'm still getting the hang of doing these videos at home. But so this Korean writing on the back there, and the subtitles are in Korean and English with Cantonese audio. And so this is a Fortune Star Korean release, and I mean obviously South Korea, right? Because I don't think North Korea is getting a lot of imported Blu-rays these days. But and if you don't know, and I've been learning this like with all these great releases that are coming out, like for instance the Hero Shed No Tears release from 88 Films, which is a John Woo film. There's a really interesting feature on there about the release of that film in South Korea, and like there are South Korean actors in that film that Golden Harvest like cast without John Woo having a say, being basically like use them because we're going to market this film in Korea. So it's really interesting to learn about how popular these films were, and I knew that they were hugely popular in Japan because I lived in Japan. If you didn't know that, and I have obviously friends from Japan and stuff like that, and they tell me about like growing up, like I was a huge Sammo Hung fan or whatever, but it's interesting to learn about their history in South Korea, too, because I know less about that. So here you go. That's the inside of this release. And here's a little like kind of booklet thing for the Hong Kong Contemporary Collection. And then it comes with this official coupon for the Hong Kong Contemporary Collection. How cool is that? And, which this is kind of like a rarity. Like this is a really nice DVD release. This is common now with Blu-ray releases, but you have the artwork on the other side and like the clear case there. So, and there's actually some bonus features on here too, but my assumption is, and I don't actually know this because I haven't popped this bad boy in yet, but my assumption is that they might not have English language subtitles, but we shall see, shan't we? And then I will get back to you on that. And you know what, kids? He didn't just send me Wheels on Meals. Oh no, my friends. He also sent me what I believe to be perhaps the single most underrated Jackie Chan film of the classic period, Miracles. AKA, and look at that, it's got the Hong Kong title on it, Canton Godfather. And so this is a Fortune Star Hong Kong release, because you can see it's got the Chinese characters on it. I don't know if you can see that. You're getting some glare there, but some Chinese characters up here and then the English language description down here. And this also has a slipcase. And it's not quite as fancy as the Wheels on Meals edition because it has a black, like the standard black plastic case instead of that really cool see-through one. There's the disc. And there's the back of it. And this has some bonus features. It's got scenes from the Taiwan cut of the film. And then it's got some information about like awards and maybe like some interviews. So there you go. So that was the package that I got from my new friend, who's a huge Jackie Chan fan and a huge Hong Kong cinema fan, who happened to get an extra copy of Eureka's release of Throwdown, and was kind enough to send me not only that, but those other amazing things too. This is Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. My name is Will. I thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far into the video and you feel like subscribing, that would be a huge help to us, because like I said before, if we reach, I think, 1,000 subscribers, we monetize on YouTube, we put all that money back into the channel. So cool. Continued growth is awesome. Let's just keep shooting for the moon. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.